Eerie, slightly distorted ambient music begins and continues underneath the narration. Have you ever been watching TV late at night, and for just a second, the signal flickers? You probably blame it on bad weather or a loose cable. But what if it wasn't? What if something else was trying to break through? Tonight, we're going to talk about a signal that was never meant to be received. A story that exists only in grainy recordings and the terrified memories of those who saw it. This is the story of the Wyoming Incident. The year is 1987. Across several counties in Wyoming, families are settled in for an evening of television. Suddenly, without warning, the local broadcast cuts out. It's not the usual technical difficulties screen. It's a blast of harsh, digital static. Then, just as quickly as it started, the static clears. But what returns to the screen isn't the scheduled program. It's something else entirely. Something wrong. Viewers are confronted with a series of deeply unsettling images. Distorted faces, their features stretched and warped into expressions of agony or silent screaming. Strange symbols flash across the screen, a visual language no one can decipher. And then there are the figures humanoid, but not quite human. Their movements are jerky, unnatural. The broadcast is short, maybe only a few minutes. But for those watching, time seems to stretch and warp, just like the faces on the screen. The immediate effect is physical. Reports flooded in of sudden, intense nausea. A feeling of profound dread washed over people, an instinctual terror that made them want to look away, to turn off the television. But many couldn't. They were frozen, captivated by the horror unfolding in their living rooms. The audio was just as disturbing as the visuals. It wasn't silence, but a garbled, low-frequency hum, punctuated by what sounded like reversed speech. It was a sound that seemed to crawl directly into your subconscious. The most nightmarish part, by all accounts, were the faces. They were recognizably human in their basic structure, but twisted. The skin tones were off. A sickly palette of grays and pallid yellows. Their mouths opened and closed as if trying to speak, to convey a message. But only that distorted, garbled audio came out. It was like watching a soul trapped behind a screen, desperately trying to communicate a warning that couldn't be understood. Between these horrific portraits, cryptic messages would flash for a split second. Strings of numbers, some of which were later identified as geographic coordinates, pointing to a desolate, empty patch of land in Wyoming. Other numbers remained a mystery, sequences that didn't correspond to any known code. And one phrase, which appeared over and over again, burned into the memory of those who saw it. A short, simple sentence whose meaning was terrifyingly out of reach. The next day, confusion reigned. When people called the local broadcasting stations, they were met with denial. The station's logs were checked, and they showed a completely normal, uninterrupted evening of programming. There was no record of any broadcast hijacking, no equipment malfunction, no static, no faces. It was as if it never happened. Yet, hundreds of people across a wide area all reported seeing the exact same thing. How could so many individuals have the same specific hallucination? The official explanation, or lack thereof, only deepened the mystery. The Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, conducted a brief investigation. Their conclusion was quick and simple. It was most likely a sophisticated prank, a pirate broadcast from a local amateur with a powerful transmitter. The case was closed, filed away, and largely forgotten by the authorities. But not by the people of Wyoming. For them, the incident was far from over. In the days and weeks that followed, a second, more personal wave of horror began. Many who had witnessed the broadcast started experiencing vivid, recurring nightmares. The dream was always the same. They would find themselves standing alone in a vast, empty landscape, a barren wasteland that felt unnervously familiar. Many later claimed it matched the description of the area pinpointed by the coordinates from the broadcast. And in the dream, they weren't alone. The faces from the television were there, surrounding them, not on a screen anymore, but in the flesh, watching, waiting, silent. A small number of viewers became obsessed. They couldn't let it go. They were convinced the broadcast wasn't a prank, but a message, a warning, a test, or something far beyond their comprehension. They hunted down the few grainy VHS recordings that had survived from that night, forming small groups to analyze every frame, every flicker of static. They spent countless hours trying to decode the garbled audio and the cryptic text, desperate to find an answer. One amateur researcher, after months of work, claimed to have made a breakthrough by painstakingly isolating and reversing segments of the audio and cross-referencing the on-screen text. He believed he had deciphered a fragment of the message. The translation he shared sent a chill through the small community of investigators. It read, "They're already here. They've been here. We just showed you what you're not supposed to see." Was this the key? A confession from the broadcasters, a warning about an unseen presence living among us. Decades have passed since 1987. Officially, the Wyoming Incident doesn't exist. You won't find it in any public FCC records. It's become a ghost story, a piece of internet folklore. Yet, the legend persists, fueled by those grainy recordings that still circulate online. And strangely, the story doesn't quite end in the past. Residents in that same part of Wyoming still report anomalies. Every few years, someone claims their TV signal flickered, just for a moment, and they saw it. They saw the faces, and with each new sighting, they say the image is a little clearer. The details are a little sharper. The faces look a little more real. It's as if whatever's broadcasting is getting stronger, its signal improving over time, as if it's getting closer. The story serves as a chilling reminder that there are frequencies all around us, signals flying through the air, and perhaps, just perhaps, some of them were never meant for us to receive. The question is, if you saw that signal today, would you be brave enough to keep watching? Thank you for joining me on this journey into the unexplained. If you enjoy diving into mysteries that linger on the edge of reality, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Let me know in the comments what you think the Wyoming Incident really was. Stay curious and stay safe.